Hello, my name is Billy Sue Mayo. I am a nurse practitioner. I own the Mayo Family Healthcare in Nampa, Idaho. I would like to open up this discussion and to get the buzz going on the what I have found as a practitioner. We go by and treat patients by current evidence-based research. And we follow the research, and that is how we come up with the best possible answers to explain things. So, as a practitioner, I would like to talk about COVID long haul and the reality of it, and it is real. Here is messed up. Sorry. And in the reality of it, I just want to have a conversation. I can't ignore the overwhelming evidence that I am seeing with all my patients. I'm going to try to make this clear. And the reason for this is to get this conversation going because I think it would be negligent as a practitioner, whom also is a long hauler. And I have come across in my practice a overwhelming link to patients that present to me for the last couple of years, maybe even before that, the chronic fatiguers, the fibromyalgia patients, the chronic migraines. Uh, I kind of took all this research and this information that as I was following research, and put it together in my own practice, and I see most of my patients of long haulers, it shows that there is a break in their immune system. And what I mean is that, in which it could explain why the vast symptoms that goes from any organ and where it could be. And from my understanding and where my research has led me, and from my personal experience and what I'm seeing in clinic, is these patients present the same exact way: headache, can't work, can't think, fatigue, body aches, muscle aches, swelling, shortness of breath. The list goes on and on and on. But the reason that I think it would be negligent for me to not open this conversation in a non-political way, just to, hey, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a trend of patients with long haul. They are often anemic. They are present with the same symptoms. It's literally like deja vu every time. And but when I started looking into it, I was going the rheumatoid um, route where you rule out anything going on, autoimmune, arthritis. Of course, you do the basics of infection, anemia, and thyroid, and that, but and nothing. And I couldn't explain it. And then I started doing more research, and I found and started adding some more blood work onto me and to patients, and every single one of them present with um, high titers of COVID, over 2,500 on my lab scale, either active or past with viruses of CMV, cytomegalovirus, reactivating, reactivation of herpes, reactivation of shingles, reactivation of mono, in addition to what them people trying to get over COVID. And so that led me to put, like, why is everybody who presents like COVID long haulers, even POTS, posterior orthostatic tachycardic syndrome, chronic fatigue. I mean, I could go on, the list goes on, but they all have, and including me, one thing in common: high titers of cytomegalovirus, which most people will have before 12. It is a cold, a viral cold kind of type of thing, but it can come on to become chronic. And then we have mono, which people get it by, I don't know the exact age, but 95% of the population will have been exposed to it by the age of 28. I think the last thing I read, either have it or it's dormant in their body. And then there's the cold sores. There's then the chickenpox coming up with shingles. So too many of these patients, and some of them said, "No, I never had COVID." And I said, "Hey, can I check for titers?" And sure enough, yeah, they have high titers, and they did have it. Um, and the link also, they were all high titers and all these many different viruses that should be dormant in our body. Our body should have a memory of it. But then I went on to think, so, okay, we're missing something here. So I started ordering immune testing and immunity testing, like the CD or T cells or B cells. And I don't want to get too technical. I just want to open up the conversation. And what it is I'm seeing is every single COVID long hauler, right? But I don't do it like this because we just don't have an answer, right? And yeah, you seem to have COVID long hauler, but every single one has either a new onset of mono EBV virus with high titers, an active, they have the cytomegalovirus, new, active, or old with high titers. And then I go, and like I just said, on and on. It's just overwhelming. There's just too much to even to explain. But it is. I see it. It's in every patient. And then, so I wanted to break it down. I needed to see what the T cells and the B cells that are doing are fighter cells. We have CD4 cells, which there are cells they recognize. They say, hey, there's a virus, and they recognize it, and they find it, and they tell the CD8 cells to kill it, right? And then the other cells will come in and they clean everything up, and then your body has a memory, and if you get exposed to it again, it's fine because you're not going to get it because you have immunity. For whatever reason, there's a break. So for my case, and for many others, the CD4 CD8 ratio is not functioning. So the CD4, oh, it's functioning because it keeps getting attacked or exposed to all these viruses. The CD8 just seems to be broken. It's just not activating. It's not working. So that puts a person in a like a histamine storm because it keeps fighting, but this one isn't doing anything. So, and when I do the blood work, it's reflecting that all high. It's like the opposite of HIV because they're low. We have low CD4, right? So it's not even recognizing it, just coming in and attacking it. We got to remember that viruses cannot live on their own. They have to have a host, meaning um, that they attach on your cells in your body. So the CD4 comes in and says, "Hey, there they are in that cell." And the CD8 should go and knock them off and then destroy them, kill them, and then, like I said, the other cells come in and clean everything up, and you're good to go. But that step's not happening. There's a break there. So it's just going in a storm, and that's causing the inflammation. That's why it's in the whole area. That yeah, you could have a symptom. That could be your symptom. It could be in your brain. It could be memory, hearing. It could be talking, tremors, neurological, stomach, skin, blood pressure, lungs. You name it. Yes, it can happen. So I started just doing some more research, and I've been following Bruce Patterson, and it makes sense to me, but I need the information and the research to come so I can start helping these patients. So what Dr. Bruce Patterson is doing, and then there's another doctor research thing that's going on, and I have a lot of hope that this is it, and it also might even explain chronic mono, that they had that we just kind of pushed outside. Yeah, we know it's there. It can cause chronic fatigue. It can we can reactivate. And the research that I read that, you know, this can be, excuse me, detected by DNA of who can um, react to this, and we could predict who could be a long hauler and prevent it from happening and treat it when it does happen. And also, even maybe even potentially some of the research that I read, even treat for it and still get vaccinated so we can stop this chaos of this pandemic that we're all living in, and without people having suffering. Because I mean, we suffer with the COVID long haul if you get it. We suffer with COVID if you get it. No matter what, you're at risk, right? We know the vaccine works. I'm going to talk about that and go into the debate. I'm talking about I can't ignore it. It'd be negligence on my part. The overwhelming amount of links and connections that they all correlate that everybody is having a cytokine or a histamine storm in their body, causing all these inflammations, joint pain, this, that, and what have you. So, Dr. Patterson, I did some research because they have an HIV medication called um, Marvrock, and its job is kind of to take over the CD8 that's not doing its job because the CD4 is in a chaos storm, and basically knocking it off of the cells so it can't attach to your cells and letting it die in the bloodstream. Because the CD8 isn't doing it, it's not killing it, but we know a virus can't live without a host. It has to be attached to our cells. There, in turn, then the macrophages and the other cells, they clean up and they go and clean up, go around and get rid of the debris and clean up the mess. And in with help of atorvastatin or some kind of statin um, to help decrease the inflammation. So I guess my story here is if you maybe not even tested positive, had a cold, but then later um, fatigue and all the symptoms that you're hearing, and yes, there can be many people, even COVID tongue. There's COVID tongue. I mean, really, COVID tongue? Wow. Yeah, no, I had it. It was COVID tongue. Um, and it just goes these rashes and then these weird food allergies, and you eat something your whole life and then you eat it and you get heart palpitations and rashes, vasculitis of the legs, swelling, edema. So it's all from the cytokine storm is what I'm thinking. And so I went ahead and I started the atorvastatin to reduce the inflammation in my body and to help pick up and clean up the mess. Um, and then I started on an antiviral to knock off um, the virus that just rampant and then activating all these other viruses in our body, worsening our symptoms. And with great success, actually, within 2 days, I couldn't even lift up my purse barely. And it's I could go on all day about my story of how the struggles and the myocarditis and the swelling of the brain and brain fog and you guys have heard it all, and I get it. And then they go to all these specialists, right? So, okay, well, we'll send you to neuro. Nothing wrong with you. Great. And then they get diagnosed with fibromyalgia, anxiety. I could go on, and then they're leaving there with no answers and basically what they explain to me and how they feel. Um, they've been gaslighted, right? Um, and they feel hopeless and there's no hope. And so then they get called, they have anxiety and get counseling. Well, yeah, I'm sure they do have anxiety. Their life has been destroyed. I have many patients that can't work. Many became homeless and then they had to get help with that. Um, the devastation, I don't have to go into it. It goes on and on and on. And it seems to be now moving over to an epidemic of long haulers that is exhausting our system and causing chaos and in the world. We need to come together with what we see. I don't know if this is right. I don't know if this is if what I think so. I mean, it makes sense to me that because my CD4 is very high and my CD8 is low, that means it's just not functioning because it's overwhelmed from all the viruses and keep trying. So it basically just like, I can't do this, shuts down. So we can help it and clean it out. I am on day 6 of this medication, and besides having a frog in my throat, but excuse me, I am so much better. No swelling, no shortness of breath, no muscle pain, no aches, no. And I expected it. I pushed myself over this last weekend, and I thought I was going to wake up miserable, and no, it's back. And then I started testing patients and with their permission, and yeah, I mean they just fit this criteria. So I need research to help me help these patients. Um, it makes sense to me. I don't have all the answers. I do see a correlation, and I need this to be spoken about. I need people to look into it. Any professionals, any virologists, any researchers, any link, anything that you can help us get there quicker. Um, I've been doing a lot of research because of my own personal investment in it myself, as well as my patients. It is devastating to see patients in so much misery and their lives changed, and then to go to all these specialists to get no answers. And not only that, I mean, it's fine to not have answers, but not to be break them down, I guess you'll say, in just to keep this non um, confrontational. But we don't always have all the answers, but having these conversations is part of current evidence-based research of what we see. And if we see trends, we got to follow that trend. We got to follow it. It might be something, and I think it is something. It really makes sense to me. I am so much better on this antiviral with the atorvastatin. My inflammation's down, my vasculitis is down, my shortness of breath. But I just and the patients are there. Their tests are high CD4, high even some of them have high CD8s because it's all in a chaos, storm, not knowing what to do. It's an overdrive causing inflammation. So we all know that that is happening if you follow research and look into it, but we need to stop it. So in my head, it makes sense to intervene with an antiviral or to help that eight get caught up, to slow the storm down, to get the inflammation down, to get back to your life. And it is possible, and I've seen it. I've been following research, and it is possible. But we all need to get on the same page together so we can help the world. We can help people. I can't do it alone. And I just need support. I need help. I need research. I need it to come faster. I need it to be available. I need answers and um, um, see. I'm just blabbing, but I encourage you guys to open up your minds and let's come together as a whole team and everybody chips in and all information and trends and things that people are seeing is helpful. And repurposing drugs and looking at things in different ways, like in a broken immune system. I'm looking at it the opposite as HIV. Um, and one of the medications for HIV is to make that virus, knock that virus basically off our cells so it doesn't live on our cells and depend on us. And then this allows the body to go in and do what it needs to do because that 8 is broken, and then in time it resets it. And from my understanding and what I'm not a virologist by any means. I'm good at research and digging through, and I'm good at seeing patients and trends, and it's overwhelming. I don't know if this is going to help or where this is going to go, but I do know that we need to really focus on that, and I believe that there is answers, and I believe that we're onto something. So, with that being said, I have left my information in the, I guess, details of this video. And I'm just asking for some more information. Let's just get some research approved and peer reviewed, and so I can move forward with helping these patients in need. So we can have. I used to think nobody wants to work anymore. Everybody's understaffed. In reality, when I thought about it, actually, people with long haulers, and there's probably more than we even think. They say estimate about 30%. Uh, I really think they just can't work. They physically cannot work due to the devastation that has been impacted on their lives. Even I'm 6 months into it, and I'm just now the last 5 days getting better. And this is how I would explain it to people, and this is how people are explaining it to me. They think they're doing better. They're like, "Yay, I'm having a great day," and they have a couple great days, and then they start to overdo it a little bit. Do some yard work, pick up some heavy boxes, do some dishes, vacuuming, and then they're down for 3 days. So it's 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. And so that made me think, so why would exercise do that, right? And then more research I went into, right? Well, the CD4 is really trying to do its job, and it might be paralyzing the virus. It's not killing it, but it is um, causing the storm, the inflammation, and basically all of those stored up and those mini viruses that are reactivated, just setting our body overflowing in there in our joints and brain and wherever it is at. It is causing inflammation and destruction and destroying people's lives, if you will. So, if we all come together, of course, nutrition, there's so many parts to this, so many parts. But I really think that we can get a handle on this and get people back to their lives if we really look into this and repurposing these medications they're the right fit, if they have these active viruses, the viral load is high. That means that they're in a storm, and why not give them something for? I've seen some studies of 2 weeks or 4 weeks, 6 weeks, that they're 95 to 100% cured just with that treatment alone, and it reset their immune system. It's Our immune system is in viral overload, and it's like, wait a minute, I can't do this. I can't do this. So it just shuts down. So I guess I'm just blabbing on, but I wrote down a few things. But the main thing, I just need to get the buzz going about all of this, and the activation of the cytokine storm that I'm seeing, and my theory, which is overwhelming in a lot of patients and proven by blood work that I've been doing, that that it is activating old viruses because it is not doing its job efficiently, which could explain old viruses that we, like I said, CMV, EBV, that is contributing to long haulers. And I really think that long hauler does not have to be a thing. And I know research will get there, we just need to all be open and start the conversation. So, with that being said, um, if please send me a message, uh, let me know, and I'm hoping for a cure, and I'm hoping I'm right. I might not be. That's called practicing medicine, right? You try what you think is appropriate. We try to do no harm, and that is the goal, is to help and then communicate and research, come together, collaborate as a group of medical professionals, that things that they're seeing, to come up with the best way to treat these thousands of long haulers. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to hearing something from anybody, some help. 'Cause yes, I am drowning with patients with long haul COVID symptoms, with lives that they would love to have restored. Thank you.